This is really dumb, but I'm gonna try to read it. Okay? I know nobody's gonna stay in, but this is actually the first newspaper article, possibly in the United States history, and it's from 1704. So, uh, yeah, 1704. So I'm going to try to 1703 to 1704. I mean, I'm going to try to read this, but remember, this is from 20, 19, 18, 17, over 300 and 14 years old. So I'm going to try to read this, but I know this is going to go bad, okay? Okay, so the Bofton. What is it? Anyways, they seem to use the F word. Um, I don't know what's going on here, so we're gonna read this, okay? This is gonna be really bizarre, okay? I mean, I'm gonna try it, but I know I'm gonna fail it. But let's try this, okay? The Boston Newsletter, number one, okay, published to an authority. Okay, this is gonna suck. This is really gonna suck. London Flying Poft from December 2nd to 4th, 1703. Oh God, here we go. Hey, what's up, Michael? How you doing, bro? This letter, this is the one of the first news articles to ever come out in the world's history, or United States history. 1704. I don't even know if it's the United States at this point, and it's called the Boston News Letter. It's not even Boston. I don't even know if this is from Boston or if this is from England. Like, dude, this is from 1704, dude. The English is completely different than it was today. And it's really bizarre to me. Like, this is just some weird shit. Okay, anyway, let's try to read this. I doubt I'll be able to read this. Okay. Can we zoom in anymore? Okay, here we go. And we have that on the internet. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Welcome to the future. This is the first article, probably one of the oldest newspaper articles to ever, be seen, technically. All right, so let me try this. It's gonna suck, okay? But I mean, this is from 1704. This is literally 1804, 1904, 2004. This is over 300 and 12 plus years, or 16, 16, 300, possibly 314, 315 years old. Okay, this is how they spoke English back then. Ready? So they call it. I won't say again. The Boston News Letter. Okay. So let me try. Okay, this is gonna suck. Letters from Scotland bring us the copy of a sheet lately printed there, intuited, entitled. I can't look at this. A fearful alarm for Scotland in a letter. I can't believe how much English has changed since then. This is completely different from our standard English. In a letter from a gentleman in the city to his friend in the country concerning the preferent danger of the kingdom and the Protestant religion. This is. I couldn't live in that time. Why? Why, buddy? Dude, you don't even understand. This is like really big history here. Like, this is some of the oldest English that is in history. Like, it's hard to understand it. I don't even understand it. This letter takes notice that pap, that Pits. Oh, God damn it. I don't know how to say this. Hold on. This letter takes notice that Papafits form in that nation, that they traffic more avowedly than formerly, and that the late of many scores of prifs and Jufits are come thither from France. Jesus freaking Christ. And gone to, I know, but the stuff we have today, yeah, I know it's crazy. And gone to the north to the highlands and other places of the country that the many ministers of the highlands and north gave in large lifts of them to the committee of the General Assembly. Assembly? They don't say assembly? Why are they putting F's where the S's are supposed to be? Look at this. Why are they putting F's? That doesn't even make any sense, bro. Like, Michael, that doesn't make no sense at all, bro. Assembly. Why are they putting F's where it should be assembly? I guess that's how they spoke back then, bro. That's so bizarre. To be laid before the Frivy. I guess that's how you said it, right? Assembly? You didn't say assembly, you said assembly. I guess that's just how they said it in the 1700s. It wasn't assembly, it was assembly. That's weird how language changed. Some of the words are still the same, but it's bizarre, dude. Like, it doesn't even, like, it, like wife of Verfes, that a great number of her ill-affected persons are come over from France under pretense of accepting her Majesty's gracious indemnity, but in reality to increase deviations in the nation and to entertain a correspondence with France, that their ill intentions are evident from their talking big, their owning the interest of the pretended King James German influence is as that. What do you mean? Vincent Franco, what do you mean? Like, are we actually, like, are you actually supposed to say Fions? Are you actually supposed to say it like that? Instead of divisions, I guess? And instead of increase, it's increase? Divisions? I don't know how to say that. Look at this. Is it divisions or is it divide funds? It sounds German to me, like a German English, but it's, I don't know. They're owning the it's a German letter. It's supposed to represent double S. So am I supposed to say divisions like that? Am I supposed to say like that? Or am I supposed to say divisions? Is the F silent or is it S? Wait a second. What do you mean? Are you talking that English used to be of a German connotation, or is it divisions, or is it? Okay, so you're saying I'm reading this whole letter wrong. Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, I know that, Michael. So what was the United States in 1704? What was the United States in 1704? Um, my brain is trying to tell me to fix this and put an S. It was England mostly. Okay. My brain is telling me to put an S, where the F is, by the way. Majesties, not majesties. Majesties. It doesn't sound like they would say that. Would they say that back then? So would they say under pressure of accepting her majesties, or would they say majesty, and the F is an S? Oh my God, I don't have a history teacher to tell me this. It's really bizarre reading this. That it's real and that it was really back then. Like, it's really fucking bizarre though. I'll just try to read it in plain English and see what happens, okay? But in reality, to increase divisions in the nation and to entertain a correspondence with France that their ill intentions are evident from their talking big. They're owning the inter inter inter. Wait, this one's confusing. It says interreft. What would you say? Intercept or interreft? Interreft. REFT. Or is it interest? Interest? Owning the interest? Oh, interest. Interest. But I think it's interest. Interest. They're owning the interest of the pretended King James. Their interest, right? That's what I was thinking. Okay. Their forset cabals, and their buying up of arms and ammunition wherever they can find them. To this, he adds the late writings and looks like an 8, like they misspelled it. To this, he adds the late writings and a stings. Looks like an 8. Looks like they messed it up and put an 8. I'll just say, I'll just skip it of something. Ooh, man. English was so hard back then. Jesus Christ. I've never seen these words before. You know, I've never seen these words before. It's like reading a different language, but it's not. I have disaffected. For me, disaffected persons, writings and stings of me, disaffected persons, many of whom are something pretender that visceral of them have declared they had rather embrace popery than conform to the present government, that they refuse to pray for the Queen. Wait, what? This is an old paper from 1704, and I'm trying to read it, but I can't. Okay, I was born in the 19th century, not the 17th century. Jesus Christ, this is a paper from 1704 in English. That they refuse to pray for the Queen, but use the ambiguous word sovereign, and the form of them pray in express words for the king and the royal family and the charitable and generous prince, who had shooed them. Oh my God, what the fuck? This is so fucking hard. I don't understand. Like, how could it be this fucking hard? Prince who has shewed them so much kindness. Oh God. So you would have to look up to France history back in the 1700s. Yeah, but it's really hard to understand the English. Like, I don't know if it's likewise. Yeah. Juden. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but it's just so weird. Look. It says likewise takes notice of letters not long ago found in cipher and directed to a person lately come thither from Saint Germains. He says that the greatest Jacobites. What the fuck? The greatest is the B and S. Jacobites. Bro, this is so bizarre. Like, you guys don't even understand how weird this is, okay? This paper is from 1704. Like, I can understand it completely. It's just these words are just bizarre. It's like saying them is probably like putting a curse on the paper or something. I don't know. He says that the greatest Jacobites, I don't know if that's a word. Am I saying that correctly or not? Who will not qualify themselves by taking the oaths to Her Majesty. Do now with the. God, is that a word? Papits? Papits? Papits and their companions from St. Germans fet up for the liberty of the subject contrary to their own principles, but merely to keep up a division in the nation. He adds that they aggravate those things which the people complain of, as to England's refusing to allow them a freedom of trade, and do they can to foment divisions betwixt between the nations and to obstruct a redress of those things complaint of. Shit. Why did they fucking talk like this, man? What the fuck? The Jacobites, he says, do all they can do to persuade the nation that the pretended king is a Protestant in his heart, though he dares not declare it while under the power of France, that he is acquainted with the mistakes of his father's government, will govern us more according to law, and endear himself to his subjects. They magnify the strength of their own party and the weakness and divisions of the other. I have no idea what the fuck I'm reading. All I know is it's really fucking old. They magnify the strength of one party and the weakness and divisions of the others in order to facilitate and hasten their undertaking. They argue themselves out of their fears and into the highest affluence of accomplishing their purpose. Jesus fucking weirdo, man. Look at the fucking date on this bitch. I mean, that's just over 300 years old. It's weird, man. From all this, he infers that they have hopes of assistance from France, otherwise they would never be so impudent. And he gives reasons for his apprehensions that the French king may fend troops thither. King may fend troops thither? Is that a word? Thither? This winter. Thither. Is that a word? Is that how you even say it? Thither? Thither this winter. I don't even know if that's a word or if I'm saying that. I'm probably not even saying that correctly. Thither this winter. What the fuck? Maybe talking about a war. Because the English and Dutch will not be at sea to oppose them, he can then best spare them. Best spare them the season of action beyond sea being over. What the fuck? The expectation given him of a considerable number to join them may encourage him to the undertaking with fewer men, if he can but fend over a sufficient number of officers. Well, at least that has never changed in 300 years, the word officers, with arms and ammunition. They must be talking about war. Some sort of war or some sort of security issues. He endeavors in the left of his letters to answer the foolish pretenses of the pretenders being a Protestant, and he will govern us according to law. He says that being bred up in the religion and politics, Jesus fucking Christ, Protestant. He says that being bred up in a religion, they had politics back then. Jesus Christ. I wonder what they would do if they knew what was happening now in 2020. Okay, and politics of France, he is by education a stated enemy to our liberty and religion. Sounds like 2020. This sounds like 2020 in 1704. To the French king must necessarily make him to be holy at his devotion and to follow his example, that if he fit upon the throne, the three nations, what the fuck? The three nations must be obliged to pay the debt which he owes the French king for the education of himself and for entertaining his supposed father and his family. And since the king must restore him by his troops, if ever he be restored, he will he will see to secure his own debt before those troops leave Britain. The pretender being a good this is like what I mean. The 1700s, were they considered the old days? Like, were they like considered like the days of I mean, the 1700s, were they considered like the days of castles? Yes or no? Were those considered the castle days in the 1700s, or was that before that, like the 1400s? Could you consider these? No, no, no. I mean, could you? No, I know it was before America because it wasn't until 1776, I think. But what I'm talking about is, could this be considered like the days of our Lord? In other words, could this be considered the days when kings live in castles? Or no? Like literal actual castles. Could this been the day of our Lord? Like, it was the... What, do you mean it was like the late... Wait. I would say before 1492. So this is not the day of our Lord then? Type of days. Is that what you're saying? These are not the days of our Lord type of days, or what? I mean, maybe these were the end, like... No? But, I mean, look at the way they speak, though. If ever he be restored, he will feel to secure his own debt before those troops leave Britain. The pretender being a good proficient in the French and Romus? Yeah, maybe towards the end of those castle days. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's possible, guys, because, I mean, it was fucking 1704. No, that would be a couple decades back. We don't know, guys. We don't know. Wow, look at this guy over here. Okay. Okay, and then the pretender being a good proficient in the French and something schools, he will never think himself sufficiently avenged, but by the utter ruin of his Protestant subjects, both as... Dude, Michael, I don't even know what the fuck this is. Like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm reading. Like, this is interesting, but it's bizarre. Like, it's 300 fucking years old. No, it's just really fucking weird. Sufficiently avenged, but by the utter ruin of his Protestant subjects, both as heretics and traitors. Ooh. The late queen, his pretended mother, who in cold blood, when she was Queen of Britain, advised to turn the west of Scotland into a hunting field. Well, that's not good. A hunting field will be then for doing for. Dude, this is so bizarre. I don't care what nobody says. Like, this is crazy. This is casually just 315 plus years old. 16, 17, 18. Yeah, maybe 314, 315 years old. You don't understand. Like, it's big history here. Just reading these words are so bizarre because this is how they used to speak, like it was nothing back then. And now we speak at a very fast pace. Have you noticed a lot of people that speak, in England and in the United States of America and Australia, New Zealand, we speak really fast now. Wow. Okay. And no doubt it is pains. Yeah. To have her pretended son educated to her own mind. Therefore, he says, it were a great. What the madness is the nation to take a prince bred. This is a prince breed up in the horrid school of ingratitude, persecution, and cruelty, and filled with rage and envy. The Jacobites, he says, both in Scotland and at Saint Germain's, are impatient under their present straits, and knowing their circumstances cannot be much worse than they are at present, and are more inclinable to the undertaking. He adds that the French king knows there cannot be a more effectual, maybe, what's the fucking backwards 3 for? There's got to be some meaning to it. I just don't know what it means. Effectual? Is it effectual? Or it's like a backwards 3, but it's slanted. Be more. It's like a backwards slanted 3. Be a more effectual, maybe? Maybe you gotta say like it with like a effectual. I don't know. That's fucking weird, man. That is really bizarre. I've never seen a letter like that. I didn't know that was even part of the English language at one point. It's like a backwards 3, but it's slanted. So there's some meaning to this, and I don't know what it is. He be more effectual way for himself to arrive at the universal monarchy, and to ruin the Protestant in tariffs and interest, then by setting up the pretender upon the throne of Great Britain, he will in all probability attempt it, and though he flawed, no, and though he should be persuaded that the design would miscarry in the I don't know that word. The design would in the close, yet he cannot but reap some advantage by embroiling the. What is the 3 nations? What is this 3 nations they keep talking about? From all of this, the author concludes it to be the interest of the nation to provide the self-defense and faith, and says that as many already taken the alarm and furnishing themselves with arms and ammunition. He hopes the government will not only allow it, but encourage it. France, the nations on ought all to appear as one man in the defense of our gracious and sovereign is this from England? It says of our gracious sovereign and the queen and her. Oh my fucking, how did we become so stupid? Like I'm getting pissed now at this point. Like I'm getting kind of pissed, guys. We lost a lot of our speech in our schools. Like maybe these words are not said anymore. Maybe that's the reason why. I mean, over the years, they lost a lot of these weird words and they just replaced them. What do you guys think? Because these words are kind of just bizarre, like of our gracious sovereign, the queen, and her just right, and the title to the crown against the bloody designs of Papists and Jacobites. Dublin, November 27th. A speech was made by a member of Parliament. I found it the Great Northern War between 1700 and 1721. So what countries did these people fight in the early 1700s? A speech was made by a member of Parliament setting forth the great danger and the prolifence were in home parts of Ireland. Oh, the three great kingdoms. Maybe Ireland, Scotland, and England? Is that what they're talking about? That's the only thing I could think of, because now they said Ireland. First they said Scotland, then they said England, and now they're talking about Ireland. Are these the three great things of the UK? Particularly the county of Limerick. Why have I heard this name before? Limerick, UK. I've heard of this. Limerick. Where is that at? The county of Limerick. I've heard of Limerick. I don't know where I've heard of it before, but I know I've heard of it before. Where the Ephraim Erispib. Okay, you know what? I'm giving up on this fucking 17th century English. Beginning to form themselves into bodics and to plunder the... Yeah, English is an ever-evolving language. Now it has a lot of influences from different languages. It has come into contact with... Think of the British Empire. So where do a lot of these words come from? Do they come from English, or do they come from like other languages? Are all these from like different languages that were kind of just smashed together, or what? Because I mean these words have changed so much in 300 years. Like we don't use the word plunder anymore. Like who the fuck uses the word plunder? There's not very many people that use the word plunder. We don't use that word no more. And we also don't use protiflance of their arms and money. We don't say it like that anymore. And that the disaffected here held a correspondence with those in England and were not of hopes of reflooring the pretended Prince of Wales. Now they're talking about the whole UK. This is about the UK. Latin via France and German because English is the Germanic language family. Are you telling me that English is a little bit German? Is that what you're telling me, that the pretenses of English were from German in a way? Well, let me see if I can say German. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Okay, so I know Guten Tag is like hello in German. It doesn't sound like English though. Guten Tag. Well, maybe. I mean, Guten Tag. Hello. Hello. They say hello. That's how Germans say it. Yeah. Good Morgen. Good morning. You're right. It is similar in a way, isn't it? That's crazy, man. Yeah, they say good morning, good morning, good morning, good. How do they say it? Yeah, good morning. It's about the same shit. Good morning, good morning, but it's about the same. Yeah, you're right. So, what is English? Where did English come from in the 17 and 1600s? Was it from Germany? Like, what was the main language in the world in the 1700s? Was it English? Was it Spanish? Or was it German? In Great Britain and someone else, this is before the countries. No, I know that, but what I'm saying is okay. What was the most common language back in the 1500s? Was it French? Was it English or was it German? Was it Russian? Or what the fuck was it? Because this language is completely different almost from just regular language. This is so bizarre. It's really bizarre when you think about it, though, at the end of the day. There's no doubt, but there is a design among the Papacettes to do mischief, and it may be justly said they have begun already. For letters yesterday say that a body of Papacettes that got together in the county of Limerick. I've heard of Limerick before. Had marched. So what you're telling me is that a lot of the language of English in general has changed since 300 years ago. A lot. It's changed a lot. Am I correct? The teachings of the old way of language is gone, if I'm correct. So they don't teach this sort of English anymore. They don't teach. I guess is this considered the Queen's English? Theoretically, is it considered the Queen's English? Because I think this is from Boston, Massachusetts, but I'm not 100% sure. This is so. Would this be like the Queen's English? This is probably more of I mean, let me ask you a question. At one point, did people speak like? Let me ask you a question, guys. At one point in the 1700s, people from America, or the land of America, some point, did they speak with an English accent at one point? Like a standard English accent, like hello, um, how art thou doing? Did they have an accent like that in this country at one point before it was a country? Is that how people spoke here? Right? They did, right? At one point? Well, no, we don't speak like that no more. We don't speak with an English accent. I don't know. I don't know what. I think we speak like. Well, we don't speak the Queen's English, do we? Or do we speak the Queen's English? You know, the more I think about it, the more amazing the language is. Because what amazes me the most is how people in England, you know how they have an accent? You know how people in England have like an accent? And people in the United States, right, we speak American English, but we don't speak the Queen's English anymore. But in the 1700s, did we speak the Queen's English with an accent, or did we speak American English with an accent? Like if we were to go back to the 1700s right now, let's say I was in Boston, Massachusetts in 1704 and I was reading this, would I be speaking like this? There's no doubt, but there is a design among the prophets to do mischief, and it may be justly afraid that they have begun already. For letters yesterday say that a body of papists had gone. Would I be speaking more like that? Or would I just be speaking like this? 4 letters yesterday that a body of the papists had gone together in the county of Limerick and had marched in the hostile man. Would I be speaking like that, or would I be speaking more of an actual English accent? Oh, this is confusing. And bizarre. It really is bizarre when you actually think about it. Like, This is just absolutely freaking. Look at this. London Gazette, December 16th to the 20th, 1703. Westminster. Look at that shit right there. Oh my god. This is an excerpt from the London Gazette. I don't know. I just typed in oldest newspaper, and this is called the Boston Newsletter. Number one. You can look it up yourself. So I guess this is a excerpt from. It says the London Gazette. So they had brought in this paper from all the way from England to Boston, Massachusetts through, I guess, a boat, and then they recopied it. Her Majesty came to stay to the Hour House of Peers, attended with a usual solemnity. Yeah, these words don't exist anymore. Did these words even exist anymore? And being seated on the throne in her royal robes, Sir David, sir, we don't use the word sir. Do we? Well, actually, in a weird way. Wait, you know who uses the old school English still? Um, Vincent, you know who kind of uses the old school English? The court systems in the United States. On this date of the blank, like I've seen a court paper where it says, yeah, like the courts still use the old English type of language. I've noticed. They'll be like on this date of the 20th of blank. You blah 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 must blah blah blah, and they use old terms. It sounds like when you're looking at court documents. I mean, these are extremely old documents. I've noticed. Like they say on this date of, like that would be like something from like the 1800s. On this date of, we don't say that no more. We usually just say on the on tomorrow's date or 30th of January 2021, you will be prosecuted for something. But they say on this date of, and it says the honorable judge. That does sound like an old school English, by the way. Yeah, most of the words are still used. Yeah, it's weird. We don't use it in everyday English though. I think it's proper. I think this is the actual look. I think this is an actual quote from the Queen of England at the time. Look, after Her Majesty made the following soft, gracious speech. So this is Her Majesty in 1704, whenever this was. December 17th, 1703 is when she said this. Look, this is from the Queen herself. So let's read what she said. I've actually never seen this before. I never even knew that the English was so different from how it is now. But let's read what she said, okay? This is really fucking weird. So let's see what she said. After which Her Majesty made the following. Yeah, this is fucking insane. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, I know it's old, but to see this, I haven't even read it yet, but just to see what she says is bizarre. Exactly. It's completely different on this day of. And it's bizarre. Yeah, I know. It's really fucking weird. The court system uses the old school English. They haven't updated it, I guess. Maybe they're not. Maybe they can't. I don't know. After which Her Majesty made the following most gracious speech to both houses, my lords and gentlemen. Remember, this is actually the Queen of England at 1703 or whatever. I think it's proper upon this occasion to let me try to talk in a accent of English, okay? To acquaint you that I have been. I really wish I could just go back to 1703 and just listen to this lady speak. That would be awesome. Queen Elizabeth II. I have bad. I have bad on questionable information of very ill practices and designs carried out in the Scotland by emissaries from France, which might have proved extremely dangerous to the peace of the kingdoms, as you will fee by the particulars which shall be laid before you, and as soon as the several examinations relating to this matter can be fully perfected and made public without prejudice. In the meantime, I make no doubt, but wait, by the sea, sonable discovery, I shall be able to give such directions for our security as well as effectually pre prevent any ill consequence from these pernicious designs. Gentlemen of the House of Commons, I am very sensible of your great What the fuck is that B right there? What is that? Great readings? Great readings and affection for the public service by preventing me to earlier in the... No, they've had many a kings and queens since then, but the name Elizabeth, there's only been two. Okay. Okay, alright. Yeah, that's interesting as B. Is it is it okay, when she says Reading, is it GS? Readings? Even though it has a B in it? Is it considered readings? REDINEB? Or is it readings? That is bizarre. Supplies, I can't read all because it's been worn out over 300 years. I depend entirely upon your... Yeah, readings. I depend entirely upon your continuing with the same zeal to dispatch the remainder of them, that lo we may be prepared to give the be something affiliates to our allies and to defeat something designs of our enemies who cannot be more indifferent to... Some of the words are still used, but not quite often. To contrive. They still use that word. The ruins of this kingdom and of the Protestant religion, then I had always be form. Okay, I can't read it anymore because it's all faded out. That's what 300 of new will do to a newspaper. The Honorable Colonial Nathaniel something can't read this. This is what happens with 300 years and nobody teaches us anything in school. Even in history, they don't teach us the proper history of our old language and stuff. They don't teach us this type of stuff. That's really sad, actually. All these words I don't even understand. I kind of... You know what's kind of weird is I kind of understand some of these words, but I don't know them, if that makes sense. It's really bizarre that I can understand them, but I can't explain them. Is miso judged by the... Yeah, they never told us about the old school language or how to read it or interpret it so that we could perfectly read back then. Like, if we could perfectly read all of this, then you would completely understand the old school days. I would love to read newspapers from the 1800s about how... I would like to, read, a newspaper and then kind of read a newspaper every day from the old days and then finally get up to, 19th century and then kind of understand how history kind of began, how technology kind of started to begin. But you would have to read it through the newspapers. I mean, there was no radio and TV back then, so you would kind of have to, oh, this guy created the automobile. This guy in Germany created the automobile, and then it would have to be a long read. Let's put it that way. It would be impossible. You would have to read thousands of newspapers to kind of catch up and read the history of the whole world. It would be bizarre. New Hampshire, New Hampshire. Sorry, New Hampshire and Rhode Island. Hey, Massachusetts Bay, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. Yo, they're old, bro. What about New Jersey? They got New Jersey too while they're at it. And Thomas Newton. Thomas Newton. Why have I heard that name before? That's weird. Judge, deputy for the colony of Massachusetts Bay. No, they didn't know the future. It's just those were the states, but I don't think they were considered states back then. I have no idea. I don't think so. This is so bizarre, man. Wow, Virginia. Shit. What the fuck is that? 13 colonies? Which he judged to be a French privateer, and that there was 2 vessels in her company which he judged by her prizes, whereupon his honor being concerning for the public will and safety of her majesty's good subjects, immediately caused the drum to beat for volunteers under the command of Captain Wanton, and in 3 or 4 hours' time fitted and manned a brigantine with 70 brisk young men, well armed, who sailed the following night, returned last evening, and gave his honor an account that they found the assorted shallop. So this proves more that Columbus didn't discover America first. Well, no, that was in the 1600s, wasn't it? Okay, I can't. Wait, does that say advertise? What does that say right there? What does that say right there? I don't know what that word says right there. Anybody know what this fucking means? It's not advertisement, obviously. Is it advertisement? What is that? What is this? Lobertisement? This newsletter is to be continued weekly. Or is that... What is that word? Lobertisement? Lobertisement? Lobertisement. So I guess it's like a... Jesus fucking Christ, bro. This is confusing. I guess it's an advertisement. Yeah. I guess it's an advertisement. This newsletter is to be continued weekly, and all persons who have any houses, lands, tenements, farms, ships, vessels, goods, wares, or merchandise to be sold or let, or servants run away, or goods stole or lost, may have the same inserted at a reasonable rate from 12 pence to 5 shillings. Huh. At a reasonable rate from 12 pence to 5 shillings. Oh, that is fucking old, man. This is fucking old. Shillings. Oh my god, dude. Like, you don't understand. 12 pence to 5 shillings, and not to exceed, who may agree with John Campbell, soft master of Boston. All persons in town and country may have said newsletter every week, yearly, upon reasonable terms, agreeing with John Campbell, soft master for the fame. The same, sorry, for soft master for the same. So you could buy this not advertisement, but you could buy this letter yearly or monthly or weekly for 5 shillings. Huh. This is really fucking bizarre. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, this is bizarre. How much is 5 shillings? Let me see. Hold on, let me look it up. Current silver price is 16.35 an ounce, so that would make 5 shillings worth about $17.36. Current silver price is 16 an ounce, so that would make 5 shillings worth about $17.36. But how much would that be in 1704? Okay, this is going to be kind of confusing too. Huh. So about $17 back then. So in other words, maybe 17 cents or cheaper. 1 cent. Half a cent. Maybe a quarter of a cent. I guess in today's money. 5 shillings. I don't know. Sounds kind of expensive for back then, doesn't it? $17. So you had to have some money with you to, you know, you would have to have a little bit of money with you. It looks like. Let me see how much an ounce of silver was in 1700. How much was an ounce of silver in 1700? In 1700, let me see. Silver price history was $2.94 an ounce. So it would be about $1 for the newspaper. So it would be $1 for the newspaper. Okay, well, interesting, guys. This was an interesting read. Thank you, guys.